I don't know what I would have done if I wasn't a mother, because I don't think I would have had the will to live left. It was scary. It was all very scary. And when somebody's constantly threatening to kill you, you lose yourself. As a kid, I kind of had a broken home, and then I was pulled out of that environment and put into foster care, but I was in foster care for 6 years. By the time I was 18, they kicked me out. I jumped right into a marriage. I was married by the time I was 20, and then I got pregnant right away. That's when everything started getting crazy. I had taken on assistant manager at a coffee shop, and I loved the job, but that's when I met my trafficker. He was the floor guy, and it was inside of a grocery store, and he would always sit at the kiosk, and so I just got talking to him. I always worked night, that's always when he worked, and then I started nannying for him and house cleaning. And I never thought too much of it because he was a retired veteran. And then when it came down to it, and my ex-husband decided that I would be moving out, and that left me with the only option to move in with them. He ended up not being who I expected him to be. He was a bouncer at a gentleman's club, but upstairs it was just a cigar bar that overlooked the gentleman's club. And then I started working there right after I moved in. And my thoughts were like, okay, if I work as many hours as I possibly can, as hard as I can, then within 3 months I should be able to buy my own apartment and stabilize for the kids. He had started taking all of my money. The bar was giving him the paycheck and then keeping my credit card tips, so all I had was cash that then would be taken from me at the end of the night. And that prevented me from moving out. That's when he had me moving drugs inside of the club. So a girl would pay him and come up, and I was just supposed to give her this piece of gum, but in the gum would be drugs. Because I was running drugs for him, I eventually ended up with a drug charge. And during the course of my trafficking, my ex-husband ended up filing for divorce. Because I was being trafficked, there was no way for me to be there for any of the hearings or anything. So I ended up losing everything, ended up divorced, and I lost custody of my children. My trafficker would also threaten my children. And every day it was constantly like that tearing feeling of knowing that I couldn't go see my children because I wasn't safe, which meant me seeing them wasn't safe. And it was absolutely terrifying because I didn't understand what was going on. That loss of time with my kids is the biggest thing that still hurts because I was everything for them.
Rebecca came to us and she had several legal issues. She wasn't in a place where she would have been successfully able to tackle her legal issues, the criminal as well as the family law. So it was really important to get her stabilized first. I knew that in order for her to have a successful chance at reuniting with her children, we needed to take care of the drug charge first. It was a very long process. It took several months of working with Rebecca, working with a psychologist, other professionals, but we were able to put together a very comprehensive document for the court.
Joseph Project helped move me into a facility for human trafficking survivors. That's when I was able to make it to my court dates. We ended up showing up, and the attorney that they had given me, it was amazing because I was looking at a felony charge, and the judge ended up saying that if I could make it through 3 to 6 months of probation with no faults, then it would fall off my record. And to me, that's like a life still living with what they did in comparison to freedom. And I was just striving for freedom.
We started tackling the issue with her custody case. What had happened in that case is while she was being trafficked, her husband had filed for divorce, and she didn't realize what was happening. She didn't have any notice of the court dates. He was able to get a default judgment of divorce against her, and he was able to be awarded sole legal and sole physical custody of the children. Rebecca never had an opportunity to come to court and present any evidence to the judge regarding the issue of custody. So unfortunately, when we got involved, she didn't have any rights to see her children whatsoever. So the first thing that we did was to prepare a motion, and we filed it with the court, asking the court to allow her to have visitation with her children.
The result after After 3 months, I got to see them on Zoom. And I now see them twice a week on Zoom. I would rather be holding them, but it's amazing to go from I may never see my kids again to getting to see them twice a week.
It's just been really wonderful to see how far she's come. And I remember she sent me a video of her first parenting time with her kids. And that was really cool to see because I could see how happy she was and I could see how happy the boys were.
How are you guys doing? You guys are so handsome. You've gotten so big. You've lost so many teeth.
I want to thank Joseph Project because they've truly changed my life. They've been so supportive that I've had the motivation to move forward. I now work in a law firm and I love it. I honestly can say that I wouldn't be where I am today without them. They got me the one thing in the world that I knew I couldn't live without, and that's my kids.